Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Beloved Wildflower. I am your host, Danielle, and this episode is just a brief introduction of what to expect when you tune in to Beloved Wildflower, a little bit about myself and the inspiration for this channel. So, welcome. You didn't have to come, boo, but you did, and I appreciate you. Okay? Thank you for tuning in today. Wherever you are, wherever you're from, I appreciate you. So the channel was inspired by my late sister, Davita, whose name means beloved or beloved. And she was the wildflower of our family. Later on in the episodes, or as you tune in, I will dive more into the unfortunate, untimely passing of my sister and what really pushed me to become the best version of myself, which was her passing and the things that led up to her passing and why I am the woman I am today, and how my growth has completely transitioned to a different space I didn't think I would be in because of her passing. Um, so the channel is inspired by her, my wildflower, who unknowingly encouraged me to be the best wildflower I can be. And the reason why I wanted to call it wildflower is because when I think of wildflowers, I think of dandelions and like euchinacea or coneflowers. Most of those flowers are generally deemed as invasive. Most of them are deemed as weeds. They're unsightly to some people. Generally, when you think of a dandelion, you see most people mowing their lawns to get rid of them or spraying harmful pesticides. But these wildflowers have very, very beneficial health benefits. And so there are things that these flowers possess that only they can possess that actually benefit your body. But because they are not what we would deem as a landscape look or this curb appeal, generally they don't fit the curb appeal look. We discard them and we waste them and we get rid of them. However, if we examine the wildflower and appreciate what the wildflower offers, you can gain a lot from it, both on a mineral level and health level. But I also use those flowers as a way to see people. There are people that you will come across in your life that are completely opposite of you. And sometimes when you look only externally at those people come off as too bold and too strong and too much, and they just don't fit in. So we usually in society, when someone doesn't fit in, we kind of put them in a pile of like, let's disregard this, let's toss this to the side. It's not really beneficial. Just like the dandelion and certain flowers that are deemed invasive or wild. So the goal of this show is to tie the flowers that are deemed invasive and wild to aspects of ourselves that we've tucked away because we felt they were too invasive or wild. And the aspects of ourselves that are very beautiful and that are bold and that are courageous that do need to come out because it is beneficial to someone in your walk of life. So here on this channel, we will feature a flower. It's not always going to be a wildflower, but generally it will be a wildflower. We will feature a flower every episode and break down the benefits of it, what zone it grows in, how to care for it, and how to use it for tinctures, teas, and different salves. And I am not a herbalist. I am a wannabe who's aspiring to be a master herbalist one day. So I'm not going to pretend I know everything there is to know about herbs. I will share my personal experience and what these herbs have done for me or these wildflowers have done for me. And then I will also link different articles and different tips that you can use for yourself and learn on your own. Also on this channel, when we talk about the wildflower, I love to get into the wildflower scriptures, okay? The books that were canonized, demonized, removed by the church and the Council of Nicaea, and they decided you shouldn't read these books, okay? So I'm all about trying to bring beauty to the forefront that was deemed too aggressive, too invasive, unwanted, unneeded. So we'll get into books like the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ. We'll get into scriptures and books about Thomas. There's a book about Judas. There's a book about Mary. There's a whole bunch of books on Adam and Eve. So we'll dive into some of these books and find the wildflowers and the beauty in those books that were removed from the Bible to get a better, deeper understanding of the heart space, which is what Christ said is the kingdom of heaven. That's your temple. So we'll learn about herbs and wildflowers in scriptures, little tidbits of history that I found was very interesting. I'm studying at the moment different American or indigenous tribes, and my heart is captivated right now by the Hopi. So their creation story is very, very beautiful. So we'll share on this channel some of those ancient American Indian stories and some of their traditions and customs, things in history that got removed from the traditional history book, and explore different things out there. We're going to learn about our gardening and how our experience has been so far, excuse me. My husband and I have started gardening. I think we started gardening in about 3 years ago. Well, actually about four. It started on a patio in our townhome, and we just had a few seedlings. And we were so excited about these seedlings. They took off, they did well, but then we got ready to move out of that townhome and we bought our home. And so they end up dying. Everything died because there was just so much back and forth with moving into a new home and the transition of doing that and repairing and remodeling our new home. So, excuse me, unfortunately, a lot of our seeds bit the dust. But here in our home, we're going on year 3 of actually gardening. And last year was our most successful year. And we're hoping to have an even more abundant, successful year this year in 2024. So we're going to share those tips. You'll be in the garden with me a lot of times, and anyone who knows me well enough, if it's warm outside, I'm outside. So if you call me, you probably should just pull up on me because I'm going to be outdoors. I'm playing in the dirt. I'm not one that likes to wear gloves. I want to feel the soil. I want to smell the soil. I just want to be absorbed by nature. So on this channel, I'm going to share all the beautiful things that I deem special in my life and the things that I've come across that hopefully inspire you. The goal is to show you how to heal, how to grow, how to uproot those things in your heart that are invasive, that are choking out the flowers inside of you, and how we deal with it. And I'm going to share my experience with dealing with the invasive flowers and the invasive things inside my heart and the demons I had to slay to get to this point where I am bold enough and courageous enough to put out something where possibly the world could hear. So I am a mother of 2. I am a wife. I married my high school sweetheart. Shout out to my husband, Demarcus The Barber. Okay, if you need a haircut, you can check him out at the Jaeger Suites off of 56 and Post. I'll link his information in the description below. So we met in high school. We have 2 beautiful children. We just purchased a home, like I said, back in 2020 when the pandemic popped off. So it was a roller coaster, and we'll dive into that on another episode as well because we bought our house. The world went into panic mode, into this pandemic. And then we lost my sister 2 weeks after we bought the house. So a roller coaster of emotions. And I want to be completely transparent and share with you guys how I overcame those hurdles, how we as a husband and wife came together and prayed for each other and loved on each other during that pandemic, during the loss of not only my sister, but several of his elders in his family. So we're going to touch on a lot of different topics here. That's why it's called Beloved Wildflower. I'm going to be all over the place sometimes, an organized mess, but I will be sharing a lot of different things. And I hope that you can pull from this channel something that you thought you were missing or that you needed, because I don't believe no one is placed in your life by coincidence. It's all strategically aligned so that you can learn and grow and be the best flower you can be in this world and put off the best fragrance that you can put off. So We're going to learn about a lot of different things. We're going to have a topic of the day, and that topic of the day will wrap into the scripture and the history tidbit and the gardening tips and um, the flower of the day. So it's all going to come together as one big old beautiful mess. And the goal is to just have fun, right? So I'm new to these YouTube streets and CapCut, so I'm still learning how to edit. I'm not going to do a lot of edits to this introduction because again, I'm growing and I want you to see my progress. That's one thing my husband always said is let people see your growth. Let them see you grow and change and shift and move, and it inspires people. So I'm hoping my story in some way inspires you. I am also a children's author. We have 2 books out, and they're exclusively on our website, piggyreadsbooks.com. The first book is called Aruza's Greatest Creation, inspired by our eldest son who had issues with sharing in kindergarten, as all 5-year-olds do. And I told him one day, if the sun and moon can share the same sky, baby, you can share your toys, okay? And it snowballed into what it is today, which is Aruza's Greatest Creation, about a rooster who calls on his best friends, fire, wind, and water, to sing a new creation into the sky, which is the sun, Ray, and Luna, the moon. And so fire beats on her drums, wind plays her flute, and water dances. And then Aruza does his cock-a-doodle-doo. And then the sun and the moon ends up in the sky, and later on the stars do. So that is Aruza's Greatest Creation. The second book is Nola's Sugar, and it is inspired um, by my grandfather. Actually, my grandfather who passed away. The inspiration comes from his passing of diabetes. And so the little girl, Nola, the main character, believes that her sugar ends up giving her pawpaw his diabetes because she's unaware of what diabetes is. So the goal of that book was to spark a conversation about diabetes. What did sugar look like in the Aboriginal household, and how the history of sugar was not very sweet to copper color folks in the world. So there are little snippets of history within the illustration of the sugarcane plantations. There's like little images of it throughout the illustration of the book because I wanted to also shed light on how bitter sugar was for copper color folks here in the Americas in the sugarcane plantations that are often overlooked in history. We have more books coming out from piggyreadsbooks.com. We just have to get a lot of stuff out there. It's a lot of work. I can say that I love the creative aspect of writing and being an author, and I enjoy sharing stories. I hate the business aspect of it, the editing and talking to, the editors and changing the work, and then finding a publishing company, finding an illustrator, and all of that business stuff, making sure you have your copyrights, making sure, the brand is trademarked. The business aspect of being an author sucks, but the creative part I truly, truly enjoy. So expect more stories to come from Piggy Reads Books. I'm just going to wrap it up and tell you guys thank you again for tuning in. I hope to bring something new to your life that is inspiring and brings you closer to the temple of heaven in your heart and brings you closer to the Most High, our Abba. I am not no prophetess, no preacher. I am not an influencer. I am just your sister holding your hand along this journey we call life and doing the best we can day by day. I am not going to judge you, and I hope that you wouldn't judge me. I don't want to cause a stumbling block for anybody. I just want to be transparent, be loving, and be the greatest expression of Ahaya's love as I possibly can. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay tuned. My goal is to drop a new video every Sunday and introduce a new flower and a new thing that you've probably never heard of before, hopefully. And if you have heard of it, that's cool too. So stay tuned. I will be dropping another video next Sunday. I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Remember, you can do all things through the Most High who gives you strength and courage. And we can learn from my big brother Yahweh Shai, we call Christ, through his teachings and his practice of love. So love everyone. Be the best example of love be the best example of light, and be the best perfume or the best flower, and put off the best perfume that you possibly can. There we go. I'm not gonna edit this either, so y'all finna hear this. This is the beginning. I'm gonna get better, y'all. Take care.